Hello, Dr. Murray. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you for coming and speaking at our conference.
It was fun. It was great.
Great. And Jane, thank you also for coming to speak with us. It is nice to meet you as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just realized I was with a rock star, a superstar, Dr. Murray.
Yes. So I'm excited to speak with both of you. It's actually very hard to get a lot of information. I guess we could read your books cover to cover, and that would be a good start. But somehow it's not as easy for a lot of us to get really great quality information. And for us to be able to speak to two people who have spent a very, very long time deeply immersed in the literature and the real world coming about supplements and natural healing and herbs, I consider this, a fantastic opportunity. I'm very excited. And I appreciate you both being available to share information that a lot of people don't offer. As a matter of fact, it's really hard to get this information. Our doctors don't really share it. And a lot of the people who give us supplement information are already selling it, and we're not sure if they have a bias. So we really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us tonight.
Very good.
Okay. So maybe you could each just take 1 minute just to tell us what you've been doing the last 15, 20 years to get us up to speed on both of you. Dr. Murray, you first, and then
Well, yeah, I've been at this a lot longer than 15 or 20 years. I really got interested in health when I was 19. I'm 65 right now, and I've been really blessed. Naturopathic medicine has just been a love of my life, and I've written over 30 books on health and nutrition, including the textbook of natural medicine and also the encyclopedia of natural medicine. I've also been instrumental in bringing many safe and effective products to North America through some of my commercial efforts, and these include all sorts of standardized botanical extracts. I was the real pioneer in bringing standardized herbal medicines like ginkgo and St. John's wort, saw palmetto, milk thistle extract, as well as natural products like glucosamine sulfate, DGL, enteric coated peppermint oil, quercetin, curcumin, PGX, Pharmagaba. And I really believe in the power of nature and have been an advocate on helping people achieve better health by taking personal responsibility for their choices in life and trying to inspire them to have a positive mental attitude, a health promoting diet, live right, get all the sleep they need and exercise, and then of course support their body properly with other measures such as dietary supplements and body care and massage and chiropractic care and all those wonderful things that can help us achieve wellness.
thank you. Jane?
Yeah, I could really echo almost everything there, except for I'm 62 instead of 65. But yeah, I feel the same as far as, the body being supported with the power of Mother Nature and natural remedies has been a part of my life since I was a child. Many people that maybe come in contact with me, or maybe if you're hearing me for the first time, I grew up with a dad who was a botanist. And so we were always identifying plants. We had stuff growing all over the yard. We had stuff growing in pots in the house. And we didn't get to partake of fast food and junk food. And besides that, there were 14 kids in my family. So there was you don't go do things out. But what was interesting as adults, most of us kind of fell into the trap of fast food, junk food, because we didn't get any of that as kids. And so we just kind of thought, we need to leave that hippie stuff behind. But then all of us, every one of us, my youngest sibling is now 40. So all of us have come back to natural medicine pretty early in the journey of being an adult. But I have this deep passion for watching people heal when they don't think they can heal without intervention from medical, I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing. I wake up every day and I can't wait. It's interesting. I kind of have this mantra that I don't ever want to retire. I want to keep doing what I do as long as I possibly can. And, I want to die really old and really healthy.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so the first question, which is unbelievably hard to answer if you're not in the herbal or the nutritional world, is you're living in society among regular people and you have a health ailment. And everyone you know tells you emphatically to get medical health and follow mainstream medical protocols. And intuitively, sometimes we say, I'm not sure, I'm kind of like to avoid side effects and I want to be do things natural, but we're not confident enough. We don't want to goof around and we don't want to make a mistake of not taking appropriate action. But on the other hand, we're also a little concerned that an antibiotic has an impact on our gut. So how do we know in what cases to approach things naturally, holistically, herbally, supplements, lifestyle, and how do we know when we need to seek a mainstream medical doctor's and follow his protocol or her protocol?
Well, I think conventional medicine is very good when heroic measures are necessary. You take a gunshot to the chest, you get in an automobile wreck, you have some sort of traumatic injury or some sort of acute, serious situation arise. I think conventional medicine is necessary in those applications, but in the treatment of most common ailments, conventional medicine has failed us. The idea that we can suppress symptoms alone is really, kind of a fool's path. If we look at most common illnesses and the way they're treated, I think in the near future, it's going to be looked at as kind of the dark ages of pharmacy, because if you look at the way in which most medications work, they're not building health. They're designed to address a symptom and not really get at the root cause. And in the process, they disrupt the body's own healing processes and many times create more problems than not. This is especially true for chronic conditions. I wrote a whole book, What the Drug Companies Won't Tell You and Your Doctor Doesn't Know, and I highlighted the problems with conventional medicine. Even something as simple as acetaminophen or Tylenol. We have 50 million people on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, taking acetaminophen or Tylenol. And this is a drug that I think should be banned because it has no real therapeutic effect. It has some analgesic activity and it's an antipyretic to lower fever, but this simple drug, it depletes our cells of an important antioxidant, glutathione. And if you look at some of the problems that are being attributed to something as simple as acetaminophen, it's chronic use leads to all sorts of problems, liver problems, and you couple that with drinking alcohol, it can be a cause of death. If we look at any major class of drug, whether we're talking about blood pressure medications or talking about antidepressants or sleeping pills, drugs for acid reflux, even drugs for arthritis, they end up causing more problems than helping people. And that's because they don't address the underlying issues and they have side effects. And I just think the natural approach is the way to go. Prevention is worth a pound a cure. And even if you have a condition, when you address the underlying pathophysiology or disease process through diet, lifestyle, attitude, and the proper use of supplements and other natural products, I think you're going to come out further ahead in your health, and you're going to live longer and have a higher quality of life.
Thank you. Jane, did you want to answer that also?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that, trauma care is where we shine in modern medicine. If you break a bone, you shouldn't try to put a herb on it to fix it. You need to go get it set. Also with really acute infections, you can always rebuild your gut microbiome if you need to go on a prescription antibiotic or something like that. But I think that as far as having other people maybe put pressure on you when you want to take care of something naturally, what I like to really encourage people to do is to start using herbal medicine, start getting really familiar with different supplements and different herbal tinctures, and kind of start building their herbal apothecary so that they, when an issue like a fever or a headache, or they get a skin wound that they can handle at home, they start using these things and can gain confidence. So if someone, tries to scare you into, the last 3 years have been really fascinating for me because, everybody I knew got this latest virus that has been going around, and I have a whole herbal arsenal for that. And I never felt nervous. And it's because this is the way that I take care of myself and my family. So I think that starting to use things will give you the confidence that when someone tries to scare you, then you have the confidence to say, no, I've got this one. But then you also have to mix it with the common sense of saying, I better go have this looked at, or I better, you really have to blend the two and use your common sense. I think that's what it boils down to.
So let's talk about antibiotics. You have a strep throat, or you don't know if you have a strep throat, or you have something that normally some would say, you know what, you better take an antibiotic. Do you, Jane Barlow-Christensen, go to the doctor and take an antibiotic, or do you have a different approach that you feel works as well without affecting your gut microbiome? Do you have a different approach?
Yeah, 100%. And I have lots of experience with this, not just with myself and my family, but over the years, different friends who have come to me. And I have actually a really good friend who owns a restaurant in Salt Lake City where I live. And he owns it's like a vegan vegetarian. I mean, he's been my friend for like 25 years because that's one of my favorite places. Well, he got really sick with strep throat last fall. And he suffered with it for a little while because he likes to do things as natural as possible. And he tried a bunch of things, and then he called me. And what I actually got him on, and Dr. Murray and I were talking about this before we came live, is there's a plant called Lomatium, which I've seen work really well for strep. And from my experience, Lomatium doesn't appear to have any organ toxicity. So you can increase the dose when you have a really acute infection. And I've used that on myself for like UTIs, different viral infections, or just different infections. I will literally take a dose every hour of like a concentrated tincture. And this is what I had my friend do for strep. And he could start to swallow within a couple of hours. And then it took him about 2 days to really feel like he was pretty much 90%. So, that's one of my favorites is Lomatium. But I also love other antivirals like OSHA, oil of oregano. But, to me, yeah, this is where the education piece comes in, where people have to be willing to start looking for things before they get sick so that they can have it in their arsenal.
Can you spell Lomatium?
Yeah, Lomatium is spelled Lomatium. Lomatium.
And can you spell OSHA?
Yeah, OSHA. OSHA.
Aside from Lomatium, OSHA, and oil of oregano, are there other things that you consider in the same category?
Well, there's a herb that comes from Africa called Cryptolepis. I love that one. I think it's got some similar properties to Lomatium and OSHA, but a little bit different. I love echinacea. I mean, there's actually a pretty big list of plants that have antiviral properties, but I would say those are the powerhouses that I turn to and love.
And in cases when someone has, from your experience of actual real world use, people who've had a need for to deal with an issue, an infection of some type, where you've given them Lomatium, how many times do you think it's worked? How many times has it not worked? And the person said, this didn't work, I need something stronger. What, I wouldn't want anyone to feel overly confident and then find out that, of course, they had a bad problem because they didn't immediately go to a mainstream antibiotic. So I'm interested in knowing, in the real world, how many times you've used it and how successful it's been, and what the real track record is of Lomatium with people that really had infections.
Well, just for my own personal excuse, because I'm not a practitioner. I don't see patients, or, so it's really within my family base and my friendship base, which my family base is quite large. I'm one of 14 kids, so that's a big base, and they all have kids and grandkids. My brain, when you were asking me that question, my brain I can't think of a time when it hasn't worked for me. I honestly can't think of a time. I'm sure there are people who've used it, maybe when you get to a certain point where the infection has gotten a little more deep seated, when you need to go, if there's a high fever. If I could be stranded on a desert island or go through life with only one herb, it would be Lomatium. And I know that's a big, bold statement, but I've never had it not work for me to the point where I don't need to go get a prescription antibiotic. Not with anyone in my family, my kids, my grandkids. So
is it as strong as an antibiotic?
I don't even really think it's an antibiotic, because it doesn't appear to destroy any beneficial bacteria. So I would say, yeah. In fact, I think it's better, because then you maintain all your gut flora, and yeah, I would say 100%. And I think it's better.
And a real antibiotic, you're supposed to stop after a week or 10 days. How long could you take Lomatium before you feel it's too much?
Well, ever since I was a young adult, I've always taken a daily dose of it for prevention during cold and flu season, typically, or if I ever travel, if I ever get on an airplane, I will take a preventative dose, either a tincture or capsule form. And I have really come to believe that your body doesn't build an immunity to it. So I think you could take it as a prevention for as long as you would need to.